Man, I have been crushing some Costco cookies. I actually finally figured out that these suckers are 2.2 pounds. And eating 2 pounds of cookies, you know it's really more like 10 to 15 pounds of extra weight. But I got handy-dandy water to wash everything down because it's like what you do for the hot dog eating contest. You're not supposed to make it taste good. You're supposed to just get that stuff down. So water is the best. It's not milk. It's actually freaking water. But whoa, dude, blowing my mind. My mind is like, boom. It's an emoji. Just boom, boom. Not a poop emoji. It's a little explosion emoji. I can't believe. Okay, we've been saying a lot. There's a lot to talk about here, so I'm just going to start feeding it out. Let's first talk about beast mode. Beast mode. Tomac, the dude that has just been getting himself into race shape. Yes, I have been guilty of saying, no, I think he's injured. And then I changed my tune going, actually, I believe Tomac is just had a really long time off the bike, and he's waiting for everyone to somewhat implode before he starts the beast mode. On my podcast, we talked, I don't want to say ad nauseum, but we always end up talking about Tomac because he's the veteran of the class. He's the king of Supercross at the moment. He's the guy that is the front runner that we want to see win. We want to see him win because he got it taken away from him last year because of an injury that sidelines any professional athlete in any other sport. But you know, every single one of these guys are complete psychopaths. Anybody that knows how to ride a dirt bike, that chooses to ride a dirt bike on the weekend, you guys are psychopaths. And hats off go to you, because there is something about the adrenaline feeling when you're just on the verge of almost dying, but you don't. It's such an addictive thing. And that's why we love this sport so much and why we want to see Tomac succeed. And it is coming. Beast mode is happening. We just saw it freaking happen. If 11th place after falling down up to second, the dude is amazing at pressure to just stay in the game. He's a smart enough guy. He's an older veteran that knows, all right, I can't just let it all hang out and throw it away, aka somebody like Jett that crashes twice, that is just young and dumb and just full of it and goes for it. You love him because he's 20 years old, that he's given that passion. But Tomac, he's somebody that lays back, doesn't feed into all the keyboard warriors, including myself, because, you know, I like to hear myself talk. I say enough about what's going on, but he's building up. Why is he so good at motocross? It's because it's a 35-minute moto times 2. Beast mode has time to build up. It's not just this NOS that just happens. No, it's like it's a pressure cooker. Eventually, that sucker just blows. And when it blows, it's freaking amazing. Okay, here, let's look at the lap times. Lap 22, he's doing 45s while everyone else is doing 47s, almost 48s. He's the only rider on the sheet that's 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 46, 46, 45. Last couple laps, 46 when you have the eventual winner doing 2 seconds a lap slower. How freaking cool that we have Tomac being able to do this. And it's not like the lap times are astronomically better than what everyone else is doing. He's just so consistent. It's like being able to run. This is my analogy. You can run a 5-minute mile, right? Awesome. You're fast on your feet, but can you do that for the next 20 miles? That's the difference. Tomac, his top speed might not be Jett Lawrence speed, but he's able to continuously do it over the course of 27 laps, which makes it ungodlike because not many people can do that. Yeah, they can go 1 lap sprint speed, but Tomac is 1 lap sprint speed can happen for 27 laps. And that's what separates him, and that's what makes him, in my opinion, the king of Supercross at the freaking moment. If I'm switching gears just briefly to talk about Jett throwing it away. If you watch my track analysis video, I talked about how these areas were going to get pinched. The whoops, you're going to go from the outside to the inside. It was going to be one line with the checkup jump, and then the weird hip is going to force riders to just funnel into the inside and push wide. And it's going to be very one line. It's going to be hard to pass. That's exactly what this track was. You had to be very methodical. And unfortunately, you have Jett losing it out front by just briefly small moment of figuring out, hey, what color underwear am I wearing today? Oh, crap, there's a tough block. Boom, goes down. Next thing you know, Webb is out front, and you're like, wait, I'm the guy. I need to beat him. So I'm just going to WFO some cookies, and I'm just going to go pin it through the whoops. And then what happens? Crashes. When he could make so many more points if he would have just dialed it back. And you know how bad he feels from going from first to fourth in the last couple laps. That's got to sting. Not just sting mentally and emotionally, but financially, because we all know Honda and these guys have big bonus contracts for getting on the podium. So it's still a big payday to finish second or third rather than just getting off the podium completely. I know AP appreciates it because his check is clearing. Tomac appreciates it because his check is, I wouldn't say doubling, but it's quite a bit more from third to second. And if we look at the points standings now, he's still out front. Here, let's look at that. He still's out front with 135. Here, zoom in. Gosh darn live shows. I need to have somebody helping me with these suckers. But 135, and Cooper Webb is now only 3 points down with a 132. Where's Tomac? Tomac, 122. Chase Sexton, he's got a broken hand. It is not just a sprain or bone. It is a broken hand. We're going to see him potentially come back in the next 3 weeks or so, I would say, is when he's going to really, really be on it. Because, yeah, Chase Sexton, if we look back at the lap times, he's fast. He's got lap speed, but he can't do it continuously because that hand is hurting him, in my opinion. And Jett, I just said it, the pressure got to him. Really, I love what Deegan said on the podium is he says the pressure gets to you. The pressure gets to you. Think of that for an instant, and I will bleed it into Forkner. The pressure gets to you. What has Deegan been able to do his entire life since he was damn near learned how to walk? He had to deal with pressure from an astronomical amount of attention on him when everything he does is scrutinized and it is under a microscope. The pressure gets to you. What did Deegan prove? He proved that he can deal with pressure and then apply it and not have it hinder him, but actually use it to his advantage. And if we see what happened to Forkner, here, I'm not going to play it because I wasn't that prepared with, it's the live show right after it. It's a reaction show. This mofo hit so hard onto the concrete. I hope he is okay. This guy has so much bad luck. So much bad luck. If we back up like 3 years ago, he's out front. What happens? Jett Lawrence is just cleaning house coming through the pack and takes him out midair. He's not able to finish the season. The next season, he gets cleaned out on the start. Season after that, 2024, he's down on his luck. He's probably fairly depressed because as a rider, that's what you're bred to do. You're bred to just race. Like McAdoo freaking said on the podium that, man, I actually had to, keep the balls in check for just a moment because I'm injured. I've been injured since the season started, and we're just going crash-a-doo, injured. It goes hand in hand right now. I'm hoping he's going to do well. Pro Circuit has a great team with Seth having the fastest qualifying time of the night, and the team with Forkner and McAdoo. It was a solid team, but Forkner, we saw him crying off, and I don't believe he is in pain, but these riders, they don't just bleed emotion for no reason. They bleed emotion because of everything they have been through. Everything that they go through, not just on a daily basis, but what they see on the internet. And if you've been injured, you know how much that just F's with your psychosis. And you go, should I believe everybody that I need to give up? And what did Forkner do a week ago, 2 weeks ago? He won. He won. Everyone was like, go Forkner. And the worst thing that happened to Forkner is he had a weekend off. He needed to apply that pressure and apply that for his mental capacity, his mental game. He needed to race the next weekend, not let everybody forget who's the effing man. Because he had to remind everybody, and he was doing it in his heat race. He got around Deegan. He showed everybody who's boss. Deegan actually T-boned him. And I like how the announcers were saying that was on purpose, but when... who was the other guy that got T-boned? It was Jett T-boning Anderson. Oh, no, that was a racing incident. I'm like, no, it wasn't. That was the same quarter, same setup. Jett was T-boning Anderson because he knew he was faster. He was trying to send a message, get out of the way, I am coming. And that's exactly what Deegan was doing, but he's not as heavy as Forkner, and so it didn't really work. Same thing with Jett. But it's just funny how the two different people apply. And really, if I want to just change bases for just a small moment and thank today's video sponsor of Precision Transport. If you've got anything with freight or refrigeration that you need to have, dry loads, etc., I want you to give these guys a call. They sponsor a lot of Supercross guys. They really help out the sport. The number is 877-827-0618. And since you guys are all here and we've got 600 people in the chat room, make sure you hit that like button so the algorithm wheel tap that sucker. Let's freaking wheel tap the sucker right now, and I will eat the entire box of Costco cookies. No, because I want to be here next weekend to give you guys another live show, so I'm not going to do that. But if we think about what happened in the LCQ between Poppy and Munoz, if that was Jett and Anderson, the internet would explode. That was probably the best race of the night between those two guys that were racing aggressively, pushing each other off. It's actually a good thing. I wouldn't say unfortunately. It's a good thing that they didn't kill each other, but it was great racing. However, if their last names were different, if it was Deegan and Forkner, oh my goodness, Feld's rating would be going through the freaking roof. But back to, because I like to digress, back to what Deegan said with pressure gets to you. Forkner, over one of the jumps, I talked about it on my track analysis video, that it was just a weird little section here, but he cased it and his hand came off. And he had 2 minutes to go. He was out front, winning, doing everything that we all knew he could do. But it all got taken from him yet again. Is this 3 years in a row? Is this 4 years? Is this 5 years? This poor kid or young man, I believe the pressure got to him. He started to think, that little voice started creeping into your head. I got 2 laps to go. I got 2 laps to go. How many of you have been to a local race, or just apply this to your life in general, when you go and you hold your breath and the moment is happening and you just have that small instant, a doubt creep in? What happens? Instantaneous karma. Things get ripped from you. We saw McAdoo case this jump over the tabletop just like Forkner did. And I believe that McAdoo is stronger than Forkner, because if Forkner would have been just a little bit stronger, his hands wouldn't have gone off the handlebar and he might have been able to save it. McAdoo almost did the same thing. I believe Swole on his Triumph did that thing. Maybe even Ferry in press day. I wasn't there. I plan on going to more press days, so keep in mind on that. But that section took out quite a few riders. And it is just a bummer. I know I'm spending too much time on this, but my heart breaks for freaking Forkner, because we saw him crying. Yes, he was standing up. Asterisk Medical Crew was doing a fabulous job by making sure he is okay, but he was not crying out of pain. Yes, of course, he's injured. He is crying because he knows his season is gone. He knows that he had everything and he was in control of his own destiny, and it got taken away from him. And so all those feelings rush in to go, why effing me? Why do I deserve this? And so Forkner, the best advice we can give him is it's not what happens to you, but it's how you react to it that makes all the difference. Forkner can be back. Forkner can still be a champion. Forkner has a guaranteed contract in the 450 class. Let's not give up on Forkner. He deserves better from the community. And man, just, but if I have to switch gears, the ghost ride, the most mature thing I've seen Deegan do in his young career is not ghost ride the bike off the finish line and get fined 10 grand or more. Yes, it would probably be better, but he still did it. He did it for his dad. He is the first time winner in Supercross. Yes, he's a super motocross. It's kind of ironic. He's a super motocross champion, but he has not won a Supercross. And what did he just do? This young man, I don't believe is the most talented guy we've seen. I believe Jett is quite a bit more talented as a generational talent. There's that word that everyone floats around. I don't believe he has the beast mode that Tomac has. But you know what he has, Andrew? Appreciate it. What he has is he's got confidence. He's able to deal with pressure. What did he say again? The quotations. Pressure gets to you. This is why that young man is going to be successful, is because he can do what most people can't under pressure. And in this sport, you live off of pressure. It is a pressure cooker. 1,000,000%. And Deegan has 1 million plus followers that give him pressure. I am incredibly impressed with this young man, and I thought he rode great. And he is, in my opinion, healed from whatever injury he had. Vintage Moto X Canada. I hope it's warmer there in Canada. It's probably pretty icy. What do you say, eh? But man, oh man, what an exciting race with not the best raceable track. And Tomac, he's racy back. His race pace is back. Beast mode is back. Anderson comes from last to inside the top 10. You've got Mookie that has just bad luck, unfortunately, and compiled with the bad luck with Triumph, compiled with the bad luck with Forkner. Is there anything else that I really want to talk about? Because those guys just ran away with it. So, I am going to have to leave it with that, even though we've got 800 people here. So make sure you subscribe. I've got plenty of pages to show you for this week's video. Monday and Tuesday, look out for those guys. Till next time, you know what it is. Keep it WFO. And if you have to sleep in tomorrow, make sure you do it because, it's Sunday. Go ride your dirt bike. Bra da da da.